just about a minute ago. The yellow tape was taken down. Law enforcement has now left, and we watched multiple bags and boxes being loaded and taken away as evidence. We also saw a computer loaded. So we don't know, if they're looking for that digital evidence against Bryan Kohberger. But this is his apartment. It's on the second floor. He lives in 201, and we believe this is a 2-bedroom apartment. We noticed that they have not taped the door. I don't know if this is signs of them having tried to take fingerprints off this door, but they were inside this apartment for over 12 hours today, processing evidence inside the apartment. Across the way here, we talked to this neighbor earlier, and he said that, he ran into Bryan Kohberger here and there, and he described him as friendly and very talkative. We talked to another neighbor who just said this is just creepy because he had run into him in the laundry room, and Kohberger had talked about being a PhD student in criminology.
Okay, behind
happen,
you. I'm sorry to interrupt.
I'm
so curious about what's behind you. That door behind you, do you see, it's hard for us with the camera angle to see if there's any markings, if they've had to force their entry. Do you see any sort of crowbar markings? Did they have to break open that door? Is the lock damaged at all? Does it look as though it was maybe unlocked when they got there?
They must have gotten a key because Washington State University police also involved in this investigation. These are university apartments. This is earmarked for PhD and graduate students. So we assume that Washington State would have the keys to this apartment because these are for students. And this is campus property.
Well, it would make absolute sense if they were able to get a master key and get in there without having to break down the door, but he certainly wasn't there. And you said that you saw them come out with a hard drive. Did you see them actually carrying a hard drive out?
Yes. Yes, a large computer, a complete computer set loaded into the back of a vehicle. We saw boxes, we saw bags, we saw what I think it looked like a bag of garbage. So maybe they retrieved some of Bryan Kohberger's garbage. And again, that, as you mentioned earlier, they're after DNA. His DNA may be in some of the garbage items that was tossed inside his home.
And then quick question about the number of people that you saw parading out of there. And I think I heard you say that they had boxes and bags. Did you see them with anything small, like small envelopes that would be, just, trace kinds of pieces of evidence, maybe like, bits of sand or just hair or fibers, those kinds of things? Or was everything sort of lopped into larger, undiscernible sorts of carrying containers?
It's quite possible, Ashleigh, because we saw suitcases, and inside those suitcases could be those envelopes of, minute traces of items, dirt and hair and fibers. So maybe those are inside envelopes. We don't know what was inside these suitcases. We saw a number of suitcases go out. We saw a number of boxes go out. We couldn't see what was inside those boxes. So it's possible, quite possible, Ashleigh, that those trace pieces of evidence could be inside.
Wow. The hard drive is the most fascinating thing you told me because, that's the first thing that is a telltale. Now, this guy that they've arrested is a PhD in criminology, so he probably is smart enough to know not to, investigate victims if he indeed is the perpetrator. He's accused at this point. However, everybody who thinks they're really smart at committing crimes, they are not perfect and usually screw up in one way or another. And I'm just fascinated did you tell me how many people that you saw, how many investigators came out of the apartment?
We saw at least 3 forensic technicians, but we also had a Washington State University officer here as well. And earlier we had Moscow police here as well. We also had Idaho State police here as well. So about 5 or 6 people here throughout the day. But what a long day for them. They were so thorough inside, taking multiple pictures. I mean, as we said earlier, flash bulbs going off inside we saw for, hours. So they definitely were quite thorough inside this apartment.
The scrutiny on this case, Nancy, as you know, is going to be electrifying. And so to say that they have to cross every T, they'll have to do that 10 times. To say that they need to dot every I, they'll have to do that 20 times. And it will be excruciating for a jury as well, because any defense attorney worth her, weight in salt is going to be able to mine for anything that goes wrong in the collection process of evidence where you are right now. Fantastic reporting. I can't even believe I'm looking at you outside of that door right now after they've literally just walked out and pulled down the crime scene tape. Nancy, just fantastic exclusive reporting for NewsNation. Congratulations. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.